Yeah. So, funny thing, you couldn't hear me. I turned the microphone off. Anyhow, I'm sorry. Today is the start of a new story. I've already worked on I've finished my first story. Of course, it requires a lot of editing. I have, it was an interesting activity. I kind of like this project primarily because it makes sure that I show up and write every day, dedicate some time to writing, even if it's just 20 to 30 minutes or, but the whole activity the whole idea behind live streaming this whole thing is to document the experience um, of how I've personally evolved from being somebody who was just winging it to somebody who's a little more organized as a writer. For anybody that wants to know, I've been in corporate communication for over 12 years, actually 14, and writing nonfiction is good when it comes to paying the bills, but it's not really as fulfilling, especially when you have a whole bunch of stories inside your head that you want to sort of you know put out to the rest of the world. Um, so I decided all throughout September I'm gonna write some spooky stories, and then eventually maybe venture into some other genres. Um, yeah. So today I'm gonna start off with sort of putting out a loose plot of the whole story. That way, I don't just come on screen every day and think of what to write. Instead, I should have some sort of a plan that's flexible, but at least I have some idea, some kind of a roadmap that I want to take. So yeah, let's get started. And before that, just let me see if everything's working. Okay, good. YouTube's live. Let me test out the song. Good, we're in business. Woohoo! Let's get this started. All right, so the idea behind the whole thing, the story is that there's a gift that makes it through to that's intended to reach somebody, the main character here, and then the story unfolds. In the meantime, there's a transition into scenes. Okay, so let's break down the scenes a little, and then I'm gonna break down the characters. So I could, you know, I'm known to break the rules or not follow any, but sort of. So I'm gonna start with the scenes first, and the idea is to have. Let's see. The trouble is I'm working with WordPad instead of Microsoft Word, primarily primarily because um, Microsoft Word does not allow the screen to be captured by OBS, which is weird. They have some privacy, whatever crap that I need to figure out. But yeah, so let's get started with kind of like a layout for the scenes. I might, if I'm fast enough, I might end up writing some parts of it. So yeah, so scene one is gonna be, scene one is gonna be a dark, dilapidated room, dimly well dimly lit. That's dark already. So there's you can hardly see anything, but the hands that only because there's a dim light from a desk lamp. There's loose paper. There's wrapping paper. Spread out. I was going through some stock videos just to sort of build the whole experience and have like the visuals in place. So it's gonna be a very cheery, kind of like in contrast with the actual setup. So everything is dark and it's dimly lit, but there's this bright colored wrapping paper, and then there's this box which will have the present, but we won't know what the present is until the very end. Okay, so there's wrapping paper, there's a box, oh, an old woman's hands, sort of place is placing shredded paper into it, and then eventually there's just trying to set the scene here. Along right at the desk there's a desk calendar that marks out a date. Let's say it's September now, October the 20th, let's say. A month from now. October 20th, 2020. As if this year can get any worse for some. Okay. So that's where and then there's an interruption of sorts. So I've tried to build suspense, like what's going on. We still haven't apparently the old woman's hands filled it, placed the present inside, and is now packing it with shredded paper for extra padding. And so there's a bit of suspense here. As she places the lid on the box, there's an interruption. Some sort of noise. I don't want the woman to be like really old, but old enough, Just the other day, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I said, "Dude, I don't want to go to the bank because it's, a rush hour just close to 5 p.m. and it's all gonna be full of old women trying to pull out cash from their ATM." And he says, "Dude, the women are your age." Yeah, well, So let's just say, okay, once I'm done with the scene, the loose layout of the scenes, I'm gonna start constructing the character. So, scene one, there's an interruption. I'll figure it out what the interruption is, and then as she places the lid on, there's an interruption. She hurriedly packs, tapes the gift, and end of scene. So I think this is good enough for suspense. I could probably describe the interruption, and yeah. So moving on. I don't know. It's hard to tell if um, it's something that I've already seen, or I don't know. Um, but it does come across as a scene from a movie, like a very, like a camera panning at the desk, on the desk, and it's focused on this bright colored gift box in the center, and there's wrapping paper, and there's a dim, it's a dark room, and the room's only lit by a desk lamp. So all you can see is the person's silhouette from the back, and then their hands just trying to place the shredded paper to add that extra padding to the gift. And then as soon as there's like maybe gunshot or whatever, or maybe somebody trying to break in, or somebody knocking, and that's it. Actually, I could spice this up a little more by saying tapes the gift. There's an interruption if I plan on doing like a knock on the door kind of thing. She she hurriedly tapes the gift, places it in the closet, or where else can she place it? Yeah, well, no, she leaves it there, tapes the gift. There's a guy at the door, and he's asking, there's a bit of a conversation, and what happens here is he's here to check up on her, and she asks if he can take her to the post office. Okay, I still haven't described where this story is taking place. We'll figure that out. Scene two. Scene two would be like, so we've set the scene. It's there's kind of a suspense buildup, and there's people kind of wondering what's up with the box. The next morning, of course, you don't want to state the obvious. The next morning, she's there. I could probably pop that in, but let's just not get into it now. The second scene would be so she's giving out a gift to somebody, and it's apparently fragile because because she's putting in the shredded paper and stuff. That's it. Okay, that's the last we're gonna talk about the gift and everything. Now there's like a totally different scene. It's like a different city. So it's a different city. So I want to get to the character, the main. So there's two characters. One that's sending out the gift, and one's the recipient. I don't want to go directly to the recipient, but sort of have that kind of a build-up. But then again, since it's a short story, you can't put too much effort on the detail So it's a different city, and um, I actually visualize this as, kids playing in the yard, kind of, you know, what could they be playing? Uh, so one thing's for sure, this story is based in Pakistan, all right? But so there's got to be a stark difference between the sender's lifestyle and the recipient's lifestyle. Um, yeah. So the kids playing in the yard, and what could they be playing? What do kids play these days outside? I mean, I was never an outdoorsy kid. The most I would do would either go out cycling or, I mean, I'm talking about the 80s and the 90s. So I'd either go out cycling or just hang out with the kids or fly kites or just play with clay and stuff like that. So I want kids to be playing a setup where the kids are playing. There's a kid that's let's just leave it there. Kids playing in the yard, and yeah, okay. So the mom calls out to them to get lunch. It's the weekend, and kids are doing what they do to get lunch. Um, uh, so there's how many kids are there? Let's say there's two kids, right? How old are they? Um, teenagers. If they're teenagers, they're probably not playing in the yard. They're playing Fortnite or just hanging out with the kid with their friends. But if it's slightly younger kids, let's just keep the kids younger. 8 and 6 year olds. So that's another note I need to take. How many kids? Let's see. So these are characters. The mom's a character that I need not describe too much, but yeah. And there's an old woman that's a character so far. So the mom calls out, and they're little kids. So this would mean these people are the parents are at least in their. Let's say this is let's say she's in her early 30s. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So she's in her early 30s. The kids are 2, 4, and 6. So, yeah. And this old woman is probably, let's say, 42, older than me. Yeah. Anyhow, so, yeah. Okay. This sounds good, and let's see. So, okay. Oddly enough, there's always one person watching me on Twitch, which is weird. Uh, it's weird. I don't know because they never respond. It's like there's somebody there, and I can't find out who they are. So just in case, let me clarify this. Just in case, it's just some random stranger who's interested in what I'm writing. Thank you. I mean, I don't mind even if you don't disclose yourself, but just in case it's somebody that's trying to stalk me, fuck you. But, I'm not going to hold back from posting what I want to do, on the internet just because somebody's, trying to figure out where I am or what I'm up to and maybe take pictures of me smoking and, talking shit on camera, on live stream. I don't give a fuck. So yeah, it's just something that I've been having troubles with. People I haven't spoken to in years, just trying to stalk me. Anyhow, okay. Some people have really boring lives, miserable lives, to be honest. But that's pretty much what's going on in this story too. I think, like they always say, a lot of things that people write about are inspired by the writer's life experiences. So I'm not gonna say this is like all true, but yeah, um, there is a fair amount of truth to it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, so scene two, different city, two kids, 4 and 6, playing with the yard. So the mom, 30-year calls out, 30-year, early 30s, she calls out to them, and yeah. There's got to be something that happens here. Okay, I got an idea. So the story is loosely based around black magic and voodoo shit. So one of the most common black magic practices that people have is I'm not even getting to voodoo dolls yet, but um, hmm, hmm. I've gotta add something here. Um, Tapes the gift. No, knock on the door. The hand. One of the fingers is heavily bandaged. Has a thick is covered with an old rag with signs of blood seeping, So apparently she's had an injury. Still trying to maintain that suspense. Uh, okay, so the kid's on his way. Let's just target the 4-year-old. The kids rush. Let's say calls them out to lunch, saying it's their favorite food. The kids rush to their mom, and the younger one trips on something and starts to cry because trips and falls to the ground. Okay, and starts to cry. The mom runs to him. Um, uh, to pick him up. thinking it's, he just fell down. Nah. So these are 4 and 6 year olds. The mom's trying to teach them to be, it's okay to get hurt. And apparently he just tripped on the grass, so he's probably not hurt. Okay, the mom waits for the kid to get up. The older sibling comes to his aid and sees and lets out a scream, calls out to the mom. She comes too detailed. Let's get some music going too. I was in the mood for jazz today. And my computer slowed down. That's one of the reasons why I hate working. Absolutely hate working on Windows. Okay. Okay, let's get going. To see yeah. I don't need to mention that she, the whole calling scene, grabs her phone. There's a kind of a conversation that goes on. You need to come home immediately. There's something going on, blah, blah, blah. And goat's head, if you're Pakistani or Indian, if there's a goat's head in your house, it's bad news. Just black magic shit. And they've had a history of finding shit, stuff in the house. Good thing is it's early morning, so I'm kind of not so scared typing all of this. I would start streaming at witching hour, and that was just scary. Even the slightest bit of noise would scare the crap out of me. I'm still getting kind of spooked out. I don't know. But then again, I'm a wuss, so. Yeah. Okay. They've had a history of finding stuff. She's concerned. The guy gets... Okay, so that's the conversation. Since it's a short story, I'm not gonna get into the, and elaborate it any further. There's a third scene. The third scene is the couple showing an exorcist, a spiritual. I don't know what you'd call it. So we have. I'm gonna have to do some research on it. You know, not just research, just ask a friend. You know, as to what they call these people. These are a mystic or a saint. Well, no, not a saint, but people who are spiritual healer. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, okay. He comes around the house. Okay, she's concerned, but the guy is totally skeptical about the whole scenario. The guy's skeptical. Yeehaw! Let's see who's on Facebook watching me. Oh, Modesta, is that you? Is that you? Let's see. Nabil Ashraf's watching. Never mind. Cool. So this guy's skeptical. The couple's showing a spiritual healer around the house. The guy somewhat you know, the guy shows them around. Nah. The couple's showing a spiritual healer around the house. The guy goes, looks, you know. So this is another character, and this is where we get to describe the husband too. So let's just place that here. Okay. Describe the husband. The couple showing a spiritual healer around the house. Guy, let's describe the husband. This is where the description of the husband comes in. Somehow. Or maybe we could wait a little to describe him. Let's see. All right. Jesus, I've been live for 45 minutes now. That's cool. And how much progress have I made? So I've played out 2, 3. I'm on the third scene. This is where something spooky happens. So this is where like I don't want to make it sound too cliche where the guy just, well, I guess I'm going to have to if I want to speed up the story a little. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Check it out. Check it out. Check. Oh. So the couple's showing a spiritual here around the house. This is the healer. So the healer is inspecting. Not the driveway. Let's see. Okay, the healer is inspecting the let's just say driveway. Okay, he inspects the driveway, asks for let's say, what does he ask for? Kind of lonely in here. Water, mumbles something under his breath, and sprays, and drinks, only to spray it out, spit it out. Spit it out. He spits it out, and yeah, I guess they get grossed out. The husband, who's already cynical, gives him a look, but stays silent because of the wife. Blah 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 blah. And the healer says, "You guys need help." Bum 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 bum. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna be writing anything. Maybe I'm just gonna brainstorm, like lay out the scenes, and make a sort. So the idea is to actually build upon the process that I started with 10 days ago. Started with 10 days ago, and sort of refine the process. So I didn't brainstorm as such. I just had this story that was like building inside my head over the years, that I sort of pulled out the scene, not a story, but multiple stories. And I sort of connected the scenes inside my head, and that was it. So now this time what I'm going to try out is just put a lot of effort into laying out the whole story. That way I won't have to come, like I said, I'm going to be repeating myself, but so that every day I come, I have like a target and some scene to describe, and so I can pull it out in my mind, sort of put it down into words. And the healer says, "You guys need help immediately." you know, the whole works. Tells them to wear them at all times, yada yada yada, and eventually leaves. I'm kind of glad I started streaming now because my phone's already started to ring with. Anyhow, tells them to wear them at all times, leaves. There's a conversation between the couple. The husband is still cynical, keeps the wife has all the kids, has the wife and kids wear it. The husband wears it and later throws it. It will wait for a scene where he throws it away. He's just cynical. He pays the money, blah, blah, blah. This is where the story ends. No, the scene ends. Okay. Oh. I gotta silence my phone. Between the couple is still cynical. The wife and the kids wear it. He walks the healer out the door and pays him, let's say, 1,000 rupees. But the healer asks for more. Eventually ends up paying, let's say, 2,000, so twice. Okay, moving on to scene 4. Okay, we're live. Guess what happened? Guess what happened? I probably had something heavy on my clipboard. I accidentally, instead of typing in something, I hit Control V, which was paste it into WordPad, and my computer crashed. And as you can see here, this darned WordPad document has nothing on it. At least a good thing. In all honesty, I'm not going to quote Bob Ross. I'm not Bob Ross. There's no happy accidents. I just got screwed over by my own computer. And God, this is annoying. Anyhow, I just came back to record because these live streams end up getting recorded, getting saved onto my on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So there's always something that I can fall back to. But yeah, so no matter how well you plan stuff, there's always something gonna screw you over. And that's the bright side. The bright side is I have a video recording of the whole thing. I could actually use that as reference, but I'm not gonna rewrite that anymore. My last stream was, I don't know, 40, 50 minutes. So 50 minutes and maybe about 25, 30 minutes worth of work, all gone. Tonight I'm gonna start streaming and start with scene 1 and 2 because the first scene isn't too long, and that's it. I guess I'm gonna I'm gonna have to ramble for another couple of minutes so that I at least have like a 5 minutes video. So yeah, okay. Getting back to the story, even though I'm really annoyed with what happened. Um, so, um, 4 scenes, and recapping what I did, I planned out 4 scenes, and now comes like it's kind of getting boring. So we've had one incident where the kid trips on something. Turns out it's uh, a goat's head, and the second scene is where the guy ends up where the healer comes to their house, and he says he spits out the water on the driveway, and he notices there's footsteps, and he says there's a woman. Um, but that would make it too obvious. I think I should say a man, uh, primarily because the woman that is kind of all old and stuff. Even though she's just 43, and it's 20, 20, 40 year olds. I'm 38. I don't see myself being crippled, God forbid, in a couple of years. I mean, crippled by age. So, God forbid. Yeah, that's scary. Anyhow, so she's kind of like on the frail side, bad health and stuff. So I just don't want to go directly to the woman, but actually to a guy. So there's a man's footprints on the driveway, and they go all the way into the yard. And he says a man came and he put it here. You gotta keep looking. So it's kind of like what I want to set the story as is the guy, the healer, says there's a guy and you need to be careful. So what I'm trying to do is put the healer in bad light for a little while I'm writing, and it all points into the direction of somebody who's jealous of the guy or having whatever, and they suspect B when it's actually A. That's the culprit, the main person behind it. So yeah, that's the idea. Moving on, I eventually plan on sort of doing maybe 6 or 7 scenes, and that's it, because my target is to finish the short story within 3 to 4 days after this first session where I lay out the whole plan. Short story under 4,000 words, and yeah. So just pray my computer doesn't crash again. Windows. Never mind. I'll catch you guys probably later in the night tonight if anybody's watching, or I'll probably stream late night. And start off with scenes 1 and 2. My target is to work on at least 2 scenes every day. Just in case the scene's too long, I want to at least finish 1 scene in 1 session at the very least. Because I aim to have another story before the end of this month, so that by the end of this month I have 3 stories that are ready to be edited and to be published on Amazon. So, self-published author in the making. Anyhow, as disappointing as it was, I think I had fun doing the first couple of scenes and planning it out. So, yeah. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Ciao for now.